start there. I was living in a maybe 500 square foot, one bedroom apartment. And I love having parties. I love like having people around. And I just really wanted to live in a big house that would be a contribution to me and to the community. I just had this dream of this place where people could gather and it would be fun and it would be my place and people are just hanging out there. But I had no idea how to do it. And I knew that like if I look around, especially in Denver, the places that I wanted, the type of places I wanted to live in, there's no way that I could afford that. So I just started thinking, I wonder what it would take for me to live somewhere like that in a way that I could actually afford it, that I wouldn't be like stressed out or I, don't know how to pay my bills or whatever. And so using the law of attraction, I just decided to start being in the energy of being someone that has tons of money and can live in this great house. And so I started going to these really fancy apartment complexes. And I would go in and say, my budget is $3,000 a month or whatever was their top of whatever they had. I would tell them that was my budget. And then they would take me in and show me these big, massive, fancy apartments and places with like a spa downstairs or whatever. It was like these really great places. And as I did that, I could actually feel my energy shift. Like, oh, maybe this would be possible, like sort of, I like walked a little differently, like, yeah, that's right. I live here, and then nothing happened for a couple months, but I just kept being the energy. And then one day out of the blue, I got a call and, it turned out my grandmother had passed away and my parents had inherited money and they didn't know what to do with it and they wanted to invest in real estate, but they didn't want a deal. And so they called and said, we know you want to live in a place. How about you just pick one and we'll buy it and you can rent it from us. And it sounds like, I know in a lot of families that might be a normal thing. In my family, I actually said no. I was like, I don't think so. This is not going to work. And then I thought about it and I thought, what if this is what I've been asking for, showing up not in the way that I expected? So for me, what I wanted was to live in a house in a way that I could afford it. Well, since I was working with my family, and we ended up doing it together, so it was sort of a group on it. So now I get to live here, they get an investment, it's good for me. But it's something that never would have shown up unless I had asked for it to show up and been in that energy. And I love this story because it really didn't show up at all how I thought. I was expecting I need to get a new job, I need to have this major shift in my life, and all I really had to do was be in the energy. And when I'm in that energy, the people around me notice and they want to be a part of it. They want to contribute to it. So it could have showed up 100 different ways, but it was so magical the way that it came about. Yeah, totally. Yes. Yeah, no, I moved in December. So this all happened. So I started about a year ago. So it took about 8 or 9 months for me for me to do this. But it is amazing how things just fall into place. Like even when we were looking, we kept looking at places and either I didn't like it or they didn't like it. You're trying to find something that works for everyone. And so once again, I was like, okay, I'm just going to be the energy of what's required, what I'm looking for that would work for everyone. And literally like this place like fell into our laps. Like somebody sent us an email like, hey, just go check this out. But yeah, I've been here 4 months now and I still like, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I get so lucky? It's like, I have this immense just gratitude for being here. And honestly, I feel like, things have their own energy too. So as much as I found this place to live, it found me. The house itself was like, ooh, who do I want to live in me? And like, and it was like, oh, that girl. So I feel like that's the other thing too, is acknowledging that especially if we're desiring a thing like a car, the energy there might be a car out there that wants you to be the one that drives it. And so being that energy and then looking around for what matches, those things will pull you in as well. They'll show themselves to you if they resonate with what would actually be the contribution that you're looking for, you know?